Cool. Sorry, bud. Didn't mean to kick you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think you didn't either.
Came to stepping dog shit on the way
I
up.
definitely meant to kick him.
Luke, you never know.
What, did I step in dog shit?
Probably.
Yeah, you rubbed on his pants.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I smell now.
Yeah. I'm gonna put
You
that
guys
one.
know better than me, so come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in my back pocket. So, talking about smelly stuff. All right, let's get down to it. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Jobs Not Steve. I'm Luke Fraley,
Dylan Baris.
and we're here today with a guest, and he does. Well, why don't you tell us what you do?
We do septics.
What's your name?
My name is Cliff from Northwest Septic. We do septics. We pump them. We do small repairs, and we do real estate inspections to make sure the systems are good and working for the buyers on the houses.
So you're on the old honey wagon, huh?
Oh yeah.
Does your wife know him?
No.
The real estate?
No. So if she's in this area, we'll definitely get your cards.
She's in this area. I've had to meet her.
Yeah.
I've had to seen her on a job once or
Yeah,
twice.
she's got a guy local to us that she uses.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, fuck, sorry, man. It's not you.
Yeah, but I still see her on other houses though.
I didn't mean that to make that awkward.
No, it's fine. Listen, hey, it's both business all about networking.
I know. I'm just messing around.
You know what I mean? One guy gets busy, one guy retires, one you never know.
Yeah.
So it's good to know everybody you can.
Yeah. Well, I know
Second
a lot of real estate people that doesn't use me because they're the seller of real estate,
Yeah.
and I work for the buyer.
Yep.
So I run into just about all the real estate people. Just half use me and half use who they already been with before I was here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I run into them once in a while. Just about all of them.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the most unique things about your business is you everybody shits. Everybody's got a septic system, and everybody's obviously people with sewer and everything else.
So
but
this is going to be
more of a homeowner based.
Oh, this is going to be more of a rural area than
Right,
it is
right.
a
A city,
city
yeah.
or a condensed population that will have a sewer system to a sewer treatment plant.
True. Yeah.
You know, so if you don't have that luxury in your neighborhood, you're putting a septic in your yard.
90% have septic.
So what? How long have you been doing this? I gotta ask.
I started in 80. Oh, gotta be like 81,
81.
79, 81.
I was a twinkle in my mom's eye. You've been doing this a while then.
Yeah, I'm doing it all my life.
And are you a one-man show or what's the story?
Right now, one-man show.
One truck,
2 trucks.
2 trucks.
2 trucks, excavator, skid steer, 3 trailers, and me.
How do you run them all at once? You're only one guy.
You find time and you schedule it right.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge part of your job, right? Scheduling everything.
Yeah.
Do you do all that yourself too?
No, I don't do nothing in the office.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's
So-
smart.
Well, I know, but I thought for a minute, I'm like, this guy's a real freaking hero.
No.
He's out there like Superman, like pumping septic tanks, digging them out, everything, and then billing and picking up the phone and he's like a septic man.
No, I got a girl Dawn that works in the office and my wife.
Oh, okay. So your wife's involved in the business.
Yes.
How is that?
That's where I met her. No.
Oh, really?
No,
Is it?
no.
Oh.
She worked for the Bank of Boston years ago, back in the 90s. She retired from there. I met her one night bowling, so we hired her as girl in the office, a company I used to work, and now we're married.
All right, we got to take a moment here. Taylor's giving me the timeout.
Brief interruption there. GoPros are rolling.
Ready to roll?
All right, everybody.
We had technical difficulty. Here we go.
I had to take a pause. Minor disturbances downstairs, but we're back.
There was some illicit guitar dealing going on down there.
Yeah, you'll get that in a place like this.
Hey man, you got the stuff?
You got the right brass strings,
that's
man.
a nice freaking Fender, man. Oh boy, I better put that on a blanket for the ride home.
All right, now I gotta remember where we left off.
Yeah, where did we leave off?
Cliff was telling us your wife when you met.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Your
Your
wife.
Yeah. No.
Married her, and she's been in the office and office manager since.
happy ending.
Does she have
So far.
Does she have a job as well?
No.
That is her job.
No, she retired from the bank when she started working for me.
That's what you met her at the bank.
Yeah, well, I met her bowling at the bowling alley.
Oh, bowling.
Yeah, bowling.
That's right. Then she worked for the bank.
I pissed her off and she married me.
You pissed her up at the bowling alley?
Oh yeah, that's how I met her.
How so? I want to hear the story.
We were bowling moonshine bowling over Brookfield Lane, so every Sunday night. And me and a couple of buddies were on a team, and we were drinking a lot of beer back then. And she was bowling, and I was drunk, and I kept bowling in the wrong lane, and taking her and
In her lane?
throwing my ball down her lane. She got pissed. We went to the bar. She was throwing pennies at me, and then I ended up taking her out to dinner, and then now we're married.
So you met your wife throwing your ball down her lane.
Yeah. That could go two ways, you know.
I just wanted to clarify.
That's great.
I mean, that's got to be a huge help for you, having somebody in the office, so you can go out and do your work and do your thing,
Well,
and
that's huge.
focus on what you need to do. And
You want to make money, always keep somebody by the phone that can answer any question you need.
What do you mean? Somebody by the phone.
right
Well,
here.
If you're working, if you're on your machine, you're doing other stuff, you're not answering, you can't do quick response, you can't, say, okay, I'm looking at the book, I could book you next week, or I could book you tomorrow when you're on the job site. I've done this for years. But her in the office, when somebody calls, she can answer all the questions, she can answer anything they need, and 9 out of 10 times we'll get people booking right there, even if they're in the middle of shopping around. Because they're not getting an answer machine.
She's that good.
Guy's up on the road.
She's that good.
She'll book them.
Not only that, too, you're not stopping 20 times a day.
Yeah. I'm not sitting there on the phone
Next
all
thing
day.
you know, you can't get your job done because you're on the phone all day.
Yep. I don't answer my phone unless it's the office.
Perfect.
I won't
Sweet.
answer it.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, that's got to be a good business plan for you, right? Because that way you can focus and not have to worry about.
I can
that. It's
focus and do my
fantastic.
job all day long and not worry
Make more
about
money.
anything. I get home, I look in the
Right.
book. Book's full. Job orders are full. I'm happy.
Wake up the next day, do it again.
Do it again. And again.
I'm gonna set my timer here quick. Go ahead,
What
Tom.
would you say is like the majority of your business? Is it the pumping or is it
Pumping.
the inspections? Yeah, that's the majority of it.
The pumping is the biggest thing. Pumping is small repairs. We make money on small repairs.
Yeah.
Make good money on small repairs. But pumping is where we make our money.
Okay. I mean, that's got to be difficult lately with the price of fuels. I imagine dumping that stuff isn't cheap either.
Well, you gotta charge somebody for that.
Yeah.
It's like right now we've never done it in all the years I'm doing it. Right now I'm charging, I think it's $20 fuel chill charge, and I'm charging a dig this year.
Oh, you did add a
I added a fuel
fuel
charge
surcharge?
this year. Yeah. And the only ones that
Yeah.
are arguing and complaining about the fuel charge are the rich ones.
Of course.
In my business, I've always noticed that the people with the most money are the ones who are the most
They're the ones that
most.
complain the most about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's
The
true.
regular Joe Schmo, us,
Understand it.
it's like, hey, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We understand what it's
People don't
going.
get what it goes into just maintaining a truck that size.
When I-
And
when I-
the fuel, I mean, you're getting, 6 to 7 miles per gallon.
You get about
Lucky.
7 miles.
Yeah, so it's, it's an expensive truck to run.
Me too. You know, Toyota Tundra, I get about 7 miles in the gallon with a trailer. Throwing a trailer.
Yeah.
around.
Which was it just under $5. Fuel's going back up again. It went down to 4 something. Now it's up 4.75.
Well, diesel. That's right. I forgot about the diesel prices. I mean,
Diesel's
that's
outrageous.
that's been
And
killing.
then now the state's talking about putting another tax on
Oh,
trucks
fighting
over
it.
26,000.
We're fighting that because
You have
the state law, I already checked with my attorney, the state law says it has to be a 2-piece truck. So we called and they said if it's not a 2-piece truck, you're not have to worry about the taxes, the mileage
Really?
tax.
So
You
it's
don't have
only
to worry
like
about it.
tractor trailers.
Only tractor trailers, or unless you got a dump truck hauling a trailer. Now you're a 2-piece unit.
Mm.
So now they sent me another letter saying that it's not, if it's a hazmat or a tanker truck, it fits into that category.
Even if it's not a two.
Even if it's
Even
not
if
a
it's not
2-piece
two-piece.
truck. So I'm not doing it. We were gonna file with them, and then we found out we don't have to.
So now with the septic, the stuff you're pumping out, is that considered hazmat?
No.
No, okay.
Really?
30 years ago, all tankers had to have hazmat.
All that shit and brick and everything isn't considered hazardous
No
material?
hazmat. There's nothing hazmatic.
Like, I consider it hazardous material.
Yeah, well, it's all natural, right?
Yeah. It's all American made.
I mean, it depends what everybody's eating if you want to go that far with it. If that was all natural or not.
Their biggest thing
man.
was back in the 80s, you had to have a tanker had to have hazmat. That was when they first went from class 1 and 2 to A and B.
Yeah.
But the state of Connecticut really dropped the ball and never gave us a plaque. There's no such plaque for human waste. You got corrosive, you got chemicals, you got bottled gas plaques, you got diesel plaques, you got no human waste plaque.
The plaque is the
The triangle on the side of the
sign
truck.
on the side of the trucks.
Yeah, so now all of us had to get fingerprinted and all this back in the 80s to have hazmat with our tanker. So when I renewed my license, my tanker license, I didn't renew my plaque. My
Fingerprinted?
oh yeah, to get, because you got corrosive gas bottles. So to get your hazmat
Oh, in
license,
case you're-
to get your hazmat license, you have to go to a state trooper. You got to
Yeah.
be fingerprinted, this and that. And you got to do it every time you renew your license. You got to get re-fingerprinted, everything.
Is that like Homeland Security stuff?
You got to take the test and everything else. Every time I go to a motor vehicle, I have to take a written hazmat test. But when a friend of mine told me, you don't have a plaque, you don't have to have hazmat. So we brought it up to the state. So we said, okay, give us a plaque. They said, oh, you guys don't have a plaque. Well, we don't need hazmat. Since then, we don't even ask for hazmat anymore.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We don't need it.
Would
Why
that?
would you? Yeah. I mean, like,
If you're not going to give
nothing to
us
see
the
here.
proper...
You know what I mean? Nothing to see here. Just all the old poop.
Cut off, so
Yeah.
stick your head in the tank.
Just a poop scooper here. Nothing to see.
Nothing here but yesterday's McDonald's.
For some people, it's like an hour's McDonald's.
So, what made you get into it? Like, was this family business? Is this somebody you started working for? And you thought, yeah, this would
When
be
I was a
alright?
kid, when I was 14, 15, I grew up on River Road in New Milford. And we had an old guy there that was into excavating, septics and that. So I worked for him every summer. And the first couple of years we sat up on the mountain which is now O&G, and we cut trees down, and I'd drive a little 6-wheel GMC C60, I think, down up and down the hill when I was 14, 15. So, I was there. I wanted to do that. So then my stepfather sat me down one night when I was 16, 17, and he says, you always want to have a job? You always want to be working? Find the worst job that is out there in the world that nobody else wants to do. You'll always have a job. So the guy came and pumped my house. We were putting a new system in. The guy came, pumped the system out. I asked him if he was looking for help, and I've been with him since. I worked with him for almost 20 years.
So you took
And
that
I worked for another guy
advice-
20 years. No, I got my own.
You took that advice like as literal
He's
as
not
it
wrong.
could get.
Yeah.
You took literally the shittiest job.
I took the shittiest job out there because I know nobody else will do it
Yep.
but me.
Oh yeah. No, there's not that many pumping companies.
No, in the Milford there's a lot, but up like in this area here, there's nothing. It's
Yeah.
the problem is all of us old guys are selling off and dying, and
No.
no new kids are coming in.
Nobody wants to do it.
No one's coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a conversation with the outside about it. Because I'm kind of curious. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm looking for a new industry. You know? My industry is, I'm done with that. I mean, geez, I've been doing that long enough. It's kicked my ass long enough. But, at the same time, it sounds like it's got to be something you got to put some time into. And
In the beginning, yeah.
like, you can't just jump, I couldn't go out and just buy a truck and then get all my certification and just go do it. I mean, could I?
You could, yes.
I mean, it's just that simple.
It's that simple.
How much would it cost me to do that?
Buying the truck's an expensive part, but getting the state test, you got to take a written state test. You got to have a state license for it.
For the driving of the truck or for the pumping of the
Not
septic?
for pumping.
Both.
Okay.
You got to have a license
You
for
have
the
to have
truck
a
too.
pumper's license.
I imagine you got to be licensed out the ass.
I
No,
got-
no pun intended.
No, there's so many different licenses you have to have. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like a plumber gets a plumber's license. You can do
Yeah.
plumbing all over.
Yeah.
Us, we have to have our truck driver's license. We have to have our pumper's license or installer's license. And now they're making inspectors have to have license. So now, if we want to do all that, we got to take all these other licenses and the tanker license. That's not a regular truck license. Tanker is separate.
An endorsement on the.
Endorsement
Yeah.
on there. So now we got to take that extra test when we get our license and put it all together. So we got to carry 3-4 different licenses to do it.
Just to pump out people's shit.
Just to pump shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
You're gonna make your money back.
it is. It's a pretty big responsibility, though. Still, I mean, they're very expensive systems.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not hazardous material, which blows my mind.
No, it's not.
I would have considered
Not hazardous.
It's biomaterial. It's biomaterial or something or whatever. What is there a name for it? Like,
No, just feces.
well, I mean, if we're gonna get into it, there's a lot of names. We could be here all night covering those all.
Politically correct is feces. Politically correct is feces.
Feces, not feces.
Yeah, well, when you take the state tests and all that, you can't say poop or crap or anything else. It's, how much feces in this tank. So
That's great.
the politically correct on the test, that's
Is
what's
the
on
feces.
there. But we call it a million different other stuff.
I bet you do. So do
Never
I.
feces.
So do I. I call it a million different things too. And you call it $1 million. I mean, to you, it looks like money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a smart business plan, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
one of those businesses. It's always going to be needed unless, the apocalypse happens and people are just going to be shitting wherever.
At that point, it don't matter. Yeah.
They're like, if we had a real bad depression, people are just going to go back to the outhouse, right? I mean, let's face it.
No, they won't. They just won't pump their tank and they'll let it back up and then they'll just go outside.
That's it.
That's what I mean. They're going to go back to the outhouse.
No matter what, they got to crap every day.
Yeah.
So
Job
my
security.
it's
You know what I was thinking about too? I was like, because I was thinking about you coming on today, and I was driving, and I was like, you know what? I bet you there's probably not a whole lot of septic businesses in Amish country.
Well, Amish companies pretty much they dig their own and they
do everything themselves.
Don't they pretty
dig
much just
their
have
own.
outhouses?
No. They have
There's
toilets.
You don't need
They have
electricity
kitchens,
for a
they have
septic system.
I didn't realize
It's
that-
not technology.
I thought they just had outhouses. I thought they
They
just.
might, but
They might,
they can
but
put
I-
indoor plumbing in.
But what they do is they dig their own by hands with shovels and wheelbarrows. They still do it.
And they make their own septic.
And they put it in the garden, grow the garden, and then they sell you the fruit.
Best damn fruit you'll get too.
Amish don't waste
is a
nothing.
They don't waste anything. That's
They
right.
make a buck out of everything.
So let's talk about what happens to it when you put it in the truck. Where do you take it?
Okay, well, we get it in the truck, and then we go to sewer plants. We have sewer plants, Winstead, Torrington, Litchfield.
Is that like going to your
Milford.
town dump?
Can't.
They're like, how much you got in the tank, and we'll charge you per.
Yeah, they charge us pretty good. Like Winstead gets $100 for every 1,000 gallons I bring in.
Now is this like the municipal waste
Yeah, it's-
waste
it's-
treatment
it's a
center, so
facility
owned
that
by
treats it,
the?
processes it, and then puts
Okay.
it back out in the water.
Yep.
Yeah, every sewer plant's next to a stream. So they got to pull the clean water in, clean that, and then put it in the water clean. Put it back in the stream.
Put it back in the stream. Okay.
And they say it's cleaner than
It's still gotta have some residual. No, I mean,
it does. It's just,
right.
I wouldn't drink it. And I don't fish next to streams that are next to sewer plants.
Yeah. No, it's smart.
That's where all the fish are, though.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
It's fertile.
I'm a fisherman, so I know that. I know that. But that's a strictly catch and release area. A lot of brown trout.
Yeah. Some are fresh,
A lot of
some
brown
alive.
A lot of brown trout in that area. But it does come out. I mean, obviously, I'm sure that
Yeah,
EPA has. Is it EPA,
they're
right?
real strict with
Yeah,
it.
they have
real strict
stuff. And
I mean, it can't be any worse than what like GE and all them other factories been dumping in the
Oh, not
rivers
like
for the
that.
last 100 years.
They're
Nothing
trying
like
to
that.
fix that. I mean,
The only place that doesn't process theirs is Kent. Kent has a facility off of Scatticook Road, and we pump it into a lagoon. They let it drain into the ground naturally, and they take the solids and spread it over the cornfield behind the Kent school.
no.
They've been doing that for 60 years.
So they take it from a private septic system and put it through like a giant public septic system, basically, right? Just
No, they put
filtering
into-
it through the ground.
They put it in a big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Let the water drain out till it turns into a sludge, and then they pump it out to the cornfield. I tell you, it's the best cornfield around.
I
Best
was
corn
just
around.
gonna say no shit, but I can't in this episode because it is. So I'm gonna say, holy shit! I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's incredible that practice is being practiced.
It's still being practiced because their grandfather did. They have a small facility.
Now I'm
for
hoping this
them.
is cow corn.
I don't know where it goes. I just know it grows every year and they cut it down.
Because I bought some
They
corn.
feed
I
off
bought
it.
some corn down in Kent, and I'll tell you, it
No,
was
it's cow corn.
the best.
It's cow corn.
And is it? I just had this crazy thought. They don't even have to plant the cornfields, you know, because that, you know, all that,
The seeds
all
are
that,
transferred right through because it doesn't break down.
all that extra corn just floating around in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but
I don't know if it quite works that way.
I don't think it does.
I'll tell you,
I don't think it does.
I see the biggest tomatoes and the biggest, cucumbers and all is around that pit where we dump. Those are the
believe it.
biggest, greatest looking tomatoes.
Did anybody plant the seeds, or they just grow it
Yeah, no,
naturally?
the seeds go through your body.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Whatever goes through your body and ends up in your toilet, and then ends up
wait,
in my
you're
truck,
actually
and then ends up
saying that?
there. Oh yeah, around those lagoons, they get some huge tomatoes
That
and
the
all the good
seeds
stuff.
from
The seeds from your
us
body.
that were,
Yep.
and it gets pumped into the lagoon, and they're actually growing.
It'll come out your duty and go in there, and then they'll grow next to the pits. It's
Wow, you learn something new every day on Jobs. That's
your body doesn't dissolve. Your body doesn't dissolve everything you eat.
That's incredible.
Hence why you have to shit half of it out, right?
That is incredible. You're welcome, everybody.
Shitty night.
That is incredible.
So they say, like, when I was used to do septic systems, we'd always have to have the old ones pumped before we crush the tank and stuff, and that smell is just putrid. I mean, they say, oh, you get used to it, you get used to
You
it.
get used to it.
I did like 6-7 years and never got used to it. You're telling me you get used to it?
Yeah,
Wait,
you
crush
get so
them
used to it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to remove old septic tanks.
Oh, you just
have
smash
to
'em up and
bury
just
them.
stick-
Right,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
state law. You have to
smash
bury
them.
them on
You
site.
empty them, you clean them, and you smash them on site.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can remove them, but nobody wants the.
I mean,
The
what's that's
concrete.
got to cost? Yeah.
It gets expensive hauling the concrete out of there.
Yeah.
Talking about 2 ton, 1.5 ton of concrete.
Yeah. Wow.
Bury it in a hole and put the tank next to it.
Yep.
Huh.
So you got used to that smell, huh? You don't smell
I
it at
got
all
used to
anymore?
that smell. I don't even smell it. I'm the
No.
worst guy to have. I go to houses all the time. They say, "Oh, you got to come in the basement." I'm smelling septic in the basement. I'm like, dude, don't ask me. Call your plumber. Call your plumber. Don't ask me. I don't smell that.
So, did you realize when it stopped smelling to you? Because it had to smell in
After
the
the
beginning.
first year,
in the
not
beginning.
all of them smell. Not all of them. Only certain systems smell.
What are those people eating roses?
No, it depends on what the people eat. You know, if they're old, if they're young, everybody eats different. Some, you know,
So there's a connection to the
there's a
client
connection with the
in
client,
smell.
the way that they are. Yeah.
No way.
Older people, the tanks smell a lot worse because they're on more medication. They're all, you know,
Bodies aren't breaking food
your
down
body
as
doesn't break
well.
the food down.
Come on, really?
But by the time I get to a septic tank, like you're different when you were an installer. By the time I get there, that's been sitting there for 2 years venting. There's no smell.
Yeah.
You don't smell nothing.
Yeah.
But when it's backing up and they got to put a new system in, so they got to have to keep having it pumped every 6 months to 2 months until the guy can get it there and put a new tank in. Now it's all fresh stuff coming in. It's not sitting there for 2 years because they got to keep having it pumped because it's not draining into the ground. You got to put a new system in, new fields. So that's all fresh. So that's like a porta potty.
Oh,
So
putrid.
that's.
Oh.
But it's worse than pork. It doesn't have the blue liquid.
Yeah.
No, that don't help nothing.
I don't know. I'd like to.
Tell you.
I'd like to hope
You
so.
come to the job I've been on when they pump the
Well, when you pile it
fucking
up
shit
past the
boxes
blue
out.
liquid.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't help anymore.
No. No.
Oh, that blue liquid's horrible. It doesn't come off
What
your
a
hands
fucking
either.
Great
Oh.
topic.
So do you ever get into like grease traps for restaurants or anything like that, or
No.
is it just septic systems?
Well, I do grease traps. I have a couple customers that
Hold
are
on,
good,
that's
good
a
friends
thing?
of mine.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh
What are you
yeah,
talking
they
about?
got 1,000-gallon tanks outside that's solid grease, and
So
that
it's
stinks.
Pretty much a septic. Yeah, that stuff's nasty,
That's
right?
horrible.
That's got to be worse than a septic tank.
I got 4 people that I do grease for, only because I've known them for years and
Yeah.
years. But
Right.
that's it.
No idea that septic guys
Oh.
would do grease. I didn't even know that there was underground grease traps.
Oh yeah.
Every commercial building that has a kitchen has to have a grease trap.
Right, but I always just see the dumpster out there with the.
That's for when the oil in the fryer laters. No, that's for that. But when they wash dishes and they're washing everything, grease goes down there. So everything has to go to a grease, and then some of it bypasses and goes to the septic next to it.
So
they
to
usually
keep
have
the
two
grease
tanks.
out of the septic system.
Keep the grease out of the septic tank. Yeah.
Clog everything up. You'll never.
It'll clog it. Grease pipes will close up in
No
2
time.
years, 3 years. You'll be snaking them out. You'll have a 4-inch hole into a 2-inch hole. Because the grease is hot in the sink with hot water.
Cools down.
When it goes down and it's going out of that pipe, it cools down, gels up, sticks to the pipe.
coagulates, yeah, and it just keeps just getting tighter
Yep.
and tighter and tighter.
Yeah, nasty stuff.
Grease is nasty.
I worked in a restaurant, and I've cleaned a few fryers out, and my God, it was bad. I think I'd rather smell septic.
That's the best way of
than
me
that
training.
smell.
That's the best way of me training somebody. Is to take them to a grease job. Because if they can stomach a grease job, they'll stomach all summer long.
You get guys that throw up on the job?
Oh yeah, I've had guys throw up in the cab, on the side of the cab, in
In
driveways.
the cab, they couldn't have the decency to hang out the window or open
No, it
the
just
door.
came so quick. Comes so quick.
Yeah, you got to make a quick stop and start sloshing around in the tank in the back. Next thing you know, it catches
I'm driving the truck trying to pull over, and it's.
So if you ever see a septic truck that's slamming its brakes suddenly, and the passenger's door flies open.
It's training the new guy.
He's training the new
Training the
guy. They just came from McDonald's. Oh, that's.
So how is it getting help? I mean, not everybody's going to have that same mentality as you. Let me do the
Hold on,
shittiest
before we get
job.
into that, I want to just say something quick about the smell thing. So have you ever heard that people? I think it's what is it? In Greenland or Iceland, where they their diet is mostly fish.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a genetic that they can't smell the rotting fish. Same thing. Like
Same
they
thing.
don't smell
Same
it
as me
anymore.
with septics.
So-
They're so used to it. They're
So
so
you-
used to it. Their body doesn't. Their body it picks it up, but their brain rejects the smell, so that it doesn't smell rotted to them.
There's just no trigger in the brain.
There's no trigger that sets
Someone
off.
came in touch with you, right? When you retire and you move down to Tennessee, right? I'm gonna call you in 10, 20 years, and I'm gonna say, "Can you smell it now?" Because I'm curious to see if it comes back. You know what I mean? I'm really
I
curious
don't
to see if
know.
it's gonna come back or if you're just permanently altered.
I've
Like you have evolved, speedy evolution.
I would imagine it would come back. Just imagine it.
Yeah.
But everybody I know that retired from all the old timers that are, gone and buried now, even when they were after retired in their 60s, 70s, they still couldn't smell it. So,
I mean, you're smelling it. Your brain's just not telling you it's bad.
yeah, I smell it. I notice it. I smell it, but
Right. It's just
It just doesn't make your
it
stomach
doesn't.
curl anymore.
My stomach it hasn't curled in 30 years.
Not for that anyway.
No, enough of that.
Is there another smell that does make your
Oh,
stomach curl?
God.
What's your number one smell that makes your stomach
I
curl?
cannot change a baby's diaper or go near a baby if it's eaten.
What? But that's literally.
I throw up instantly. I get so sick.
Is it just the thing? Is it just babies? Do you just not like babies?
No, it's not baby. Dog poop too. Dog poop too. I can't touch dog poop unless it sits there for 3 or 4 days.
That's got a different smell though. That's a whole.
I
That's
can't.
a
I
whole
can't
different
do.
ballgame.
I can't do any of that stuff. I'm just not good at it.
That's fascinating, man. You know what I mean? Septic smell.
I was thinking it was gonna be like asparagus or something
No,
like
yeah,
off the
right.
wall. I wasn't expecting just
baby
different
shit.
shit.
Baby shit.
Yeah.
It just triggers me to.
So going back to what you were saying, Dylan. Yeah. What is it like trying to find help in this business?
Dude, it's
Because-
literally the shittiest business.
I have a hard time. I have a hard time finding help. As it is, let alone not having the job description be like pumping human feces, and you may get a little on you. You might, yeah. So
10 years ago, we used to have waiting lines outside the door. 5, 6, 10 guys long trying to get into the trucks to work. In the last 5 years, that line dissipated to nothing. We put ads online, put ads all over the place. We can't find anybody. Yeah, so we used to have guys that would do anything to get into them because we used to get oil guys, anybody that worked in the wintertime, winter jobs, because we don't work in the winter. So we would get the guys who would run oil all year. They'd be lining up for the summer to work summers and then go back to doing oil. We had all kind of guys like that did, winter jobs.
Yeah.
Can't find them now anymore. I used to have stacks of applications on my desk. People would call me constantly, wanting to get in the truck to drive it. Because it's physically working, it's an easy job.
Couple hoses, the hose.
Couple of hoses, dig one hole, kneel down next to it, get it out. Now we can't find anybody.
What do you think is the cause of that? I mean, do you have any theories? I mean, have you spent any time thinking about it?
Yeah.
Or you just,
I spent time thinking about it. I didn't do any studying on it, but I've seen personally too many kids being coddled under their mother living in the basement. That's our problem.
There's no drive to get out and make $1.
No drive.
Yeah.
Absolutely no drive.
at least not make $1 in that industry, I mean, I don't know.
Any of them.
Well, I mean, it's across the board. Every industry.
I'm saying from the rich in upstate to right down into Milford to where the working man is. Same thing. I see it. I've pumped houses where across the board.
Yeah.
Wealthy, poor, middle class, everything. I've seen it across the board.
Society as a whole in general is just.
Yep. I've been to rich houses and seen kids 25, 26 years
Now, a lot of
old
people are
coming
blaming
out.
this on COVID, and we've had some guests that
I've
said
never
like
blamed
since
it on-
COVID. So you're saying that you've seen it before COVID?
It was before COVID. Everybody's coddling their kids right now, and they want everybody else's kids to work but theirs. They want their kid to have the president job, but everybody else has to be the cook or the bathroom
president,
cleaner.
doctor.
Pretty much what it is. I've been seeing it for years.
Go to college.
Go to college.
Yep.
And what do? They go to college, they spend 2 years, get thrown out, most of them. Not all.
Yeah.
They'll get tossed
Or some
out.
complete
They'll
it
come
and
back,
they-
live
yeah.
at their parents' house. Their parents will give them money, pay for their gas. And they'll go out, they'll sleep all day, then they'll go out Thursday, Friday night, Saturday night, hang out with their buddies all night. And
I mean, you got to figure
How
that
can you sustain that?
that's a
It's-
small, that's
yeah.
a small, that's a small bracket of what's happening. I would, definitely that's happening.
no, it's happening.
What about the poverty? What about the kids where their parents can afford to pay for their gas and can't afford to, do that? Like, what
That's why we got
are they
welfare.
doing?
What do you think welfare is?
What are they doing?
Welfare, food stamps, SNAP. It's
Yeah.
I know a guy that he's a really good truck driver, doesn't want to work, he's not gonna work. Because he gets $800 a month, this thing called SNAP. I have no idea exactly what it is. But they give me $800 of food credit on a credit card. Then
Yeah,
they're
I
giving
don't
him
know what
extra,
SNAP
giving him
is
extra
either.
money to pay his rent. They're giving him extra money that he gets free health insurance.
You know what SNAP is? That sounds like I got to get on this shit.
Well,
He's on it. He's on it, and he's saying, "Well, I'm not going back to work anymore. I don't have to work."
why? Because he loses all those benefits if he
He'll
works?
lose. He'll lose his whatever $800,
Health insurance,
whatever
everything.
SNAP. He'll lose this. He'll lose his not unemployment, but he gets something else that's
So what would somebody make doing? You
In-
hired
in
somebody
my-
to take a truck, go clean septics all day.
if he's a helper, probably make about $30,000 a year, working at 7 months a year. You can't say 12 because the
Yep.
wintertime ground freezes. Probably like around 30,000.
What's the job description for what's a helper?
A helper is sitting in the passenger seat waving the fans.
Waiting what?
Waving the fans.
Oh, waving to fans.
Pretty much what it
waving to
is.
fans like this, you mean?
Getting to the job, finding it, digging a hole, pulling the lid, pulling the hose off the truck, and then putting the hose back on the truck when we're done, getting back in the passenger seat and sitting there until we get to the next job.
And then the driver just drives.
And the driver does all the driving.
So what does the driver make? So your helper's going to start out at 30,000. What are they going to max out at, or what's their next step from helper?
Well, there really is no max out on it. The max out is how hard you want to work. That's pretty much what it is. You can make $100,000 a year in 9 months and not blink an eye if you want to work. If you want to really do the job. if you want to work 10-hour days.
Yeah.
I ran another company for over 20 years, and we didn't pay people by the hour. We paid them per job.
So the more tanks they did in a day.
And the more they did in a day, and I've had some really good drivers. I had 5 drivers working one for like 5 years. I had 5 the same drivers stay on for us for 5 years. I had one guy that was doing 8-9 tanks a day, and I got one guy that was doing 3 tanks a day. The guy who's doing 3 tanks a day was bitching, complaining because the other guy's making all the money, and he's not making any money.
Yeah.
But he's not working as hard.
I said, well, he can do 7. Why don't you do 7? Oh, I don't want to do that.
Well, then you don't want to make the money that bad, not do you?
So,
Don't give me money.
so how do you make sure they're doing a proper job though, and not screwing you over by only half pumping the tank and leaving and going to get more jobs?
Well, once
Doing
you check
the same
on-
amount of time, you know what I mean?
One thing is you got to check on your drivers.
Yeah.
You check on them. And we can always know what's going on by their dump tickets. See, the drivers really don't think about that. They fill up, they
Yeah,
go
'cause-
and they unload.
I mean, let's say hypothetically, if that's a 30 per day, some guys like, all right, I'm a little smarter than these fucking assholes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna only pump half a tank. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah, but-
and I'm gonna
But they
I'm gonna
know
do
if
it the
you went to
same amount
a-
of time, and I'm just gonna be like, man, I'm killing it. You know what I mean? And I'm hustling.
Yeah,
but
he
they're
knows how
screwing you
many
over. You
gallons
know what I mean?
and
Well,
this many
So
tanks.
and then. Is there like a some type of checks and balances where
One is that they'd be doing the job too quick. It only takes 15 minutes to pump a tank. The hardest part is digging and pulling hose. Pumping the tank is nothing. That's just all vacuum. That's the easiest way I find them, and I've caught them before, is at the end of the day, if they're going to go out and do 5 jobs, that's 5,000 gallons. When they come back at the end of the night, their sewer plant tickets better be 5,000. If they're coming in with 3,000 on sewer plant tickets and 5,000 pumping, there's 2,000 missing. Now the sewer plant is we're either screwing the sewer plant, the sewer plant screwing us. Because when we pump 5,000 gallons, we got to unload 5,000 gallons. So I've had guys that would do that, do 7 jobs, and come in with 5,000 gallons at the end of the day with their tickets. And I'd say, what's going on?
Awkward.
Well, what you do is you don't take them into a room like these and I call them out in front of everybody, and I said, how can you do 5,000 gallons? What makes you so special over everybody else here?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? Because I want to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then they, you catch them. They turn red in the face. They start doing things. Then they're not doing their job right. Then I have a clause. We sign a contract, and in that contract it says if they get caught or they do only pump half a tank, they're responsible to go back and finish that tank and pump it on their dime, on their expense. So if they don't pump the whole tank, and a lot of customers call in. A lot of customers will dig the hole, and they'll check it at night when they get home. And if it's half full, hey, better go out there. It's half full. Now he's got to pay me the fuel. He's got to pay for another $100 dump ticket because it's on his dime,
Yeah.
and it's in his contract.
yeah, he just worked for free the whole day?
He's got his whole
Or
day. Yeah,
you might actually come out with some more money in your pocket at the end of the day. You're still charging the customer. Yeah, that's.
But you got to find the right guys.
I imagine.
If you get
yeah.
good guys, you'd never have that problem. Because that extra 5 minutes to be kneeling next to that tank
Yeah.
is not going to save you another drive to. It takes half an hour to get from one job to the other. That 5 minutes sitting next to that tank is not going to get you any faster in the day. And to do a good job.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, you're better off getting paid for that job than.
Yep. And you always tell them,
Wasting
man, if
the
that
time, bro.
customer opens that hole up, that better be empty. 'Cause a lot of customers check. A lot of customers do. Or they'll dig it and leave it open. So when they get home, they just got to pop it.
They're easy to find because you already dug it.
Those are the easy ones. I like those.
I do it. I mean, because they charge you what, $20 or whatever, or what is it for if you dig your own septic hole?
It depends on the company. Some are up to $50 a hole. I'm at $25 a hole. $25 per foot.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I get mine pumped, I actually, when I bought my house, the septic tank was actually above ground, half of it. Yeah, no, it was
That's fine.
a foreclosure.
Okay, yeah.
It was a foreclosure, and I was like, oh, where's the septic? Oh, it's right there. It's literally, it was like the top of the tank was exposed, and I ended up regrading, the area around it, and I put a piece of slate, on top, and I put little risers, so whenever I have to do it, I just pull the slate back, and bam, there it is, and I can mow over it and everything.
I've seen people take their tank and then make it a little bigger with concrete and make a patio out of it.
Have you ever heard about people busting the bottom of the tanks out? And
Yes,
putting it
it
in?
happens all the time.
See, I bought this as a foreclosure, and I checked the fields in like the D box, and the D box, for people who don't know, is where all the liquid goes, right?
That's a distribution box. It
Yeah,
distributes it between the lineals.
and the line was completely clogged to the D box, and I was like, "Where's all this liquid been going for all these years?" And I'm so worried that the bottom might just be, because I heard this nightmare story about people busting the bottoms out of tanks and getting away without like putting fields in and stuff.
Well, that turns it into a cesspool.
And then all the liquid just
The liquid drains into the ground
and
like
then that's
normal.
going in your freaking well, no?
No, because as long as you're 75 feet, because you have to be 75 feet away, it'll never go in your well. When you go to your distribution box, the water goes out from your tank to your distribution box.
Right.
Same thing as if it's going down through your tank.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's still going into your yard.
Yeah,
true.
It
Oh,
doesn't
okay,
go
it's
into
going
the
further away.
Near the field.
It could be going further away,
But the fields have steps in them, don't they? Like gravel steps and things where
No,
it runs
they're all
through.
the same level.
It's all pretty much.
it's elevated by pipes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to get any farther from the well.
Okay.
It's not going to do it. They go from 75 feet from the tank to
Yeah.
the well, 75 feet from a D box to the well, which
Yeah.
really doesn't matter. They don't care. As long as you got 75 feet. Because water, when it comes out of your tank, it doesn't run level. It comes out of your tank and umbrellas into the ground. So 25 feet away from your septic system will never touch septic, influent, water, staining, nothing. Because the umbrella's out of your tank and goes down into the ground. It doesn't run across unless you're on ledge, which you can't be. Then it will run across the top of the ground and go to your well.
I see.
But it all umbrellas and gravity takes it down into the ground, and it evaporates. Most of it evaporates.
It evaporates.
Evaporates. Water evaporates. That's how we get clouds.
In the ground. No, I'm saying in the ground. In the ground. That's funny. Bill Nye, the science guy over here.
Come on, Luke.
Now,
In
in the ground, water evaporates. Sun hits the ground, heats the ground up, and it evaporates.
Okay.
If it's a really deep system, no.
Yeah.
If it's underneath the driveway, no.
Yeah, I see.
But if it's in your yard, it will evaporate.
Okay. All right.
So that's why all systems have to be within 18 inches up nowadays, so you can get some evaporation on them. Years ago, back in the 50s, 60s, they used to put them 5, 6, 7 feet down, figuring that it would be farther down the ground they would last forever. But then you get no evaporation on them.
Yeah, all the dry wells they put.
You don't get hot enough. The sun don't get there. You don't get no evaporation. You don't get nothing.
So, one of the biggest things I noticed too is I was watching this guy do it. I was sitting eating lunch, and this guy was pumping a septic across the street at this property, and he gets out of the truck. He grabs the hose, no gloves, and starts pumping the tank, and finishes, puts it all back, no gloves.
That's crazy.
And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, is that normal? That's not normal."
No, everybody's got gloves. Everybody's got gloves.
Because that hose is touching shit.
Would you
right?
wipe your ass without toilet paper?
So what do? You just tap the end of the hose and that's it. You just slam it back in the truck.
I think he lost his gloves.
That's
That'd be
Says no
self-respect.
Yeah.
Because there's not one pumper out there. I know just about everybody from Ridgefield up to up in Massachusetts. We all have spare gloves in the truck. We always carry 2 or 3 pair. Unless you're a young kid not knowing and you leave your gloves on the fuel tank, close your door and drive away. When it takes them, I see them on the side of the road.
Oh God, I see good. So it's you guys. I see those gloves scattered around the
I've lost
roadside all
them.
the time.
I've lost them. I threw them on top of my fuel tank, climbed up in my truck, drive. That's why I carry 2 or 3 pair in my truck all times.
So for all you people who see those gloves on the road, don't pick them up and don't use them.
Well, the caretaker's gloves too.
They're septic truck gloves.
Not all.
Not all.
Just some.
Anybody who's going to pick up gloves anyway, they're desperate. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, if you can pick up any used gloves, you're
just
desperate.
some nasty person.
Put them
sweaty,
on, lick the fingers,
sweaty.
you'll be fine.
Oh, God.
Doesn't matter where they've been.
All those. Oh God, I'd have to throw my gloves out every now and then, because it just gets so nasty inside.
I don't wear my gloves out. Mine get wet, a little saturated. As soon as they start to smell, I throw them.
You wear rubber gloves as well?
No, I rubber gloves are the worst thing to use during septics.
Why?
Because if any bacteria runs down your arm and gets inside those gloves, they can't dry out. They're rubber. They stink really bad. Your hands sweat in the summertime. And in 2 or 3 days, the inside those gloves are just so nasty. They smell.
What
they
about?
stink.
I mean, like disposable, like surgeon's gloves. You know what I mean? Like.
Only if I have to put my hand in a pipe or I'm pulling a clog out or changing a filter. Yeah, then I'll use the surgical gloves.
Okay.
One shot, on, off, and done.
Yeah. So, you have to come across some crazy stuff while pumping septic systems. I mean, have you found any dead animals?
A lot of them.
Dead people?
No dead people. I want to do that one day, though. I've been thinking that for 30
I hope your
years.
wife isn't listening to this.
No,
Why
I've
to
been-
pump one out?
Run
not
now.
Put someone in it.
Run now.
all of my friends and all, I've been wanting to get, like a little 3-foot skeleton,
Oh, just
plastic,
one of your...
heavy one that does not float.
Yeah.
And I want to pump one of their tanks. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I never do it. I want to pump their tank and throw it in there when I'm done. So you got the head, the arms, the legs, the whole skeleton. Put the lid on it, backfill it, go back 2 years later and say, hey, you got to be there when I pump your tank. When I do my friends' houses, they're always there.
Yeah.
And then pump it down. It's like, holy cow, there's a dead body in there.
That would
Freak
That
out.
would get them.
That
They
would
would see
be
the
bad.
skull,
You
the
should
arms,
definitely
they
do
would
that.
see it.
You should definitely
I've been
do it.
saying that for years.
You
and
let
I
me know
never
when you
it.
do it, and we'll try and hide the cameras. Because that would be freaking great.
That would scare the crap out of me. I've gotten dogs, cats, squirrels, snakes, chipmunks.
Is this stuff people are flushing down the toilet, or is this stuff that just gets in there some
Well,
other way?
Dogs and cats are usually kittens and puppies. That's what people, when they get a litter, they surprise them.
Please tell
I
me
see that.
people aren't flushing puppies
Yeah,
down
they
the
do.
fucking toilet.
But with the squirrels, raccoons, squirrels, possums, they get into the fields because they have dens. They get into the fields, and then they'll crawl up through the pipe. When they get into the tank, the outlet baffle, they'll fall in, and once they fall in, they can't get out.
Game over.
So then it's game over.
What
so
a
then
shitty way to
I
die.
get snakes to do. Every spring I get snakes, a lot of snakes,
I could understand
chipmunks,
snakes, frogs,
rats,
things
frogs.
like that.
I have a really good real estate lady. I did an inspection for her today, and about 2 months ago, really nice lady, very very polite. We're up in Lakeville, and it's cold out. I'm cameraing the system, so I had the camera from the tank going to the D box. She was at the D box. I sent the camera through. It had a little light on the end. I've never heard her swear in her whole life. I've known her for 20 years. She was swearing, cursing, and almost took an ass over tea kettle. She thought it was a snake coming out of the D box. She's scared of snakes.
Although she thought you're
She thought my camera was a snake,
snake, yeah.
and she just ran into it, crashing all over the place.
a snake wearing a headlamp.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All you see is something in a box going dunk 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 dunk. And she's seen snakes in there. I warned them before. When we open this up, it might be full of snakes.
That's crazy.
Animals that bury in the ground are going to climb
What
in
is
those
some of the
pipes.
crazy stuff you've seen clogging systems or
See
like,
what?
clogging up systems, like stuff that people flush.
Baby wipes.
What is the craziest things people flush down the toilet?
Anything, everything. Anything that'll
Fits
fit
the
through the
ships.
trap. Anything that'll fit through the trap.
Fish and chips.
I get tons of GI Joe guys. I get
No way.
little Matchbox cars. Tons of those. You go to Winstead Sewer Plant. We got a whole pile of them up there that we leave next to the pumps on the bricks that when we pull them out of the screens.
Oh, you should just give them the Toys for Tots,
Not clean enough. I did a lady actually 10 years ago right in Kent. Everybody knows her. She's a really nice lady. She calls us up on a Saturday night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and says, I got drunk and I got sick, flushed the toilet, and I don't have my teeth.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah,
those-
I go out there first thing in the morning. I screen the whole system down.
She wanted him back after all
Oh, they
that?
always get them back. Oh, I do a lot of them. They always get them back.
What, they put him back in their mouth?
Well, they bring them to the dentist. The dentist cleans them, and they put them back in their mouth.
Oh, Jesus.
So I pump the whole system down. It's not in the system. I snake with the camera all the way up to the house. No teeth. She has one of these really fancy wall mount toilets like you see, at these fancy restaurants.
With the chain?
Not through the floor. No, not through the floor. It goes
yeah,
through the wall.
we've put a couple.
So you can wash it underneath the toilets.
Oh, right,
Hanging
okay.
toilets.
Oh, it's just, yeah,
Yeah, well,
suspended.
they have a smaller trap in them. They only have a 2 1/4 inch trap. A regular one is 2 3/4 or something like that, bigger thing. I took the toilet off the back of the wall, and it was sitting right there in between the gasket and the toilet.
It looked like a
She was so happy. She gave me a $50 tip. Oh my God, you found my teeth. Oh, I'm happy.
my teeth. How hilarious. You just pull it off and there's some teeth just staring
just
at you.
sitting there, chompers. They're just sitting there.
Just ready to chomp what's ever coming out.
Luckily, it couldn't fit through the pipe. Right,
Oh
couldn't
my
fit through that pipe.
God. Yeah, what, I mean, diapers? I mean, like, because you're
Not a lot of, very rarely diaper. Very
you're
rarely.
sucking this stuff up. I mean, imagine it clogs the...
Nothing disappears in a septic. You can.
How about condoms?
Oh, too many. Oh my God, way too many condoms. They're crazy. They got to stop flushing them. Gotta stop. They're rubber. They don't dissolve.
Right.
What they do is they clog my hose up. It makes a mess. It clogs the fields up. Yeah, it gets really nasty. I did a job. Remember a job I told you about?
Tell me about
Down
it.
in
Which
Ridgefield,
one?
about 20 years ago. I get there, I'm pumping the lady's tank. And the guy comes out and says, "Hey, how's everything going?" I said, "Yeah, it's going really good, but you got to stop putting these rubbers in here, man. I'm pulling them out with shovels. I mean, shovelfuls
Shovelfuls
of rubbers." I'm like, Jesus, I really, I'm really excited. I'm happy for you, but you can't be using these rubbers. Please, put them in the garbage. They don't dissolve.
Yeah.
I'm all done with the job. I go to the door to get paid. Guy comes out, 2 bags of luggage. I'm like, going on a trip, huh? I think maybe he's a salesman going someplace.
Yeah.
I'm like, going on a trip, huh? He goes, "No, I'm going down to get me a hotel." So what do you mean? He goes, "I had mine cut years ago. I don't use a rubber." "Well, could be the guy before you." He goes, "Nope. I've been living in this house for 20 years. He goes, "I'm going to a hotel and this bitch ain't getting nothing."
So that was
And he
it.
left.
That's how he found out his
Divorced.
wife was cheating on
That's
him.
how he
Did
found
he
out
give you
she
a
was
$50 tip too?
cheating. He didn't give me any tip. He
You
was
should have.
Did you get paid?
We got paid.
Yeah.
We got paid, but it was, oh man. And then like 5 years down the road, I'm doing an inspection in the same neighborhood, same neighborhood in Ridgefield. And this real estate lady, which is a good friend of ours, and she's telling the homeowner this whole story. She didn't know that was me. She's telling the homeowner, "Well, we know that there was a pumper in this area that caught this guy, and they got divorced, and she ended up getting the sale of the house." She ended up being the real estate lady.
So
on
she's
that.
bragging about
And
this.
she's talking about it, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I said the guy's name, and she goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, that was me." She goes, "Oh, my God, we were always wondering who it was. No one said anything."
You're a celebrity, man. You should be out there signing toilet paper.
Toilet paper?
It's kind of hard when it's wet.
Let's talk toilet paper, because that's one of the things too. Is like, so
That's a big
There's
thing.
a million different toilet papers out there. Obviously, you'd probably prefer the one that your finger goes right through, but the rest of the world doesn't.
No,
As a
that's...
septic guy, I mean, not for your own personal use.
No.
I'm not.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I'm not trying to judge
Yeah.
you that way. I'm just.
All
but
toilet paper is dissolvable.
all of it. So
You
no
always-
matter what the cushion is, the quilt is, the
The quilt,
thickest,
that really doesn't matter. It's if it has dye in it. The stuff that has prints, patterns, the fancy looking stuff, with red and blue and green
they still
flowers.
do that. I didn't
Yeah,
even
they still
know.
do that.
Right.
That stuff does not break down because it's got the dye in it, so the toilet paper doesn't break down as fast.
Why
'cause
do
the
they
dye
make it
keeps
then? I don't understand that. I mean,
Because people
did,
want
did the toilet paper company
something
not
pretty
get the
hanging in
memo
there. They don't
that
care.
the other chain of events in
They
their
don't care.
business
This end
it
is
doesn't
making
work?
This end is making money rolling this up on a tube. This end is getting screwed, but they're making more money
Can't
than
they
this
use
end.
beet juice or something?
Beet juice.
I'm just saying. There's got to be dyes out there that are
The new thing, toilet paper is really not that much of an issue anymore. The issue is the baby wipes and the adult wipes. They're made of plastic.
It's a fibrous, right? Like
It's a plastic fiber.
so like a nylon.
It's more of it's more of a nylon or a Palomar. And what happens is it never breaks down. And when they use every 2 years, figure they're going through one can, 13-ounce can with maybe 30 wipes in it.
I mean, I've had a baby before. I know how many.
Yeah, you know how many you're gonna go through a week?
Yeah, a lot.
No,
Yeah.
take all those and
We put 'em
stack
in
them in your
trash.
closet. All those, stack them in your closet for 2 years. I try to carry all them out in one basket.
Oh no.
They knot together like hair. They twist in.
Oh,
we
even
can't
the
get 'em out.
BJ's. You know, you go to BJ's, you get the just one package that lasts you a week.
Yeah.
You know, when you got a
Does
baby.
that like fuck up the pump on the truck and all that shit
No,
too?
it doesn't do anything with the truck except for we got like stuff inside the truck, our check valves and stuff. We got to climb in there once a year and cut them out, and it's nasty. You got to get in there with a good saw, and you got to climb in there and you got to cut it off of the rails inside there because we got rails and bumpers.
Is that
and
the
stuff.
driver's responsibility or the helper's responsibility?
That's pretty much the owner's responsibility.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what the owner does. Drivers won't go in them.
Yeah.
So that's. I knew you were coming on, so I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I wonder, like cement trucks. I know that they got to go inside those every once in a while.
They go in there and blast them out.
Chip them out or whatever they do. And I was like, God, do they have to do that with septic trucks too?
We usually do it
Like,
twice. Each of my
pump
trucks
it out,
get
you
done.
get that extra sludge that kind of sticks, and then it just. I imagine it.
My trucks are twice every 2 years. My trucks. I usually do it in the spring and I do it in the fall.
You climb into that.
We climb
tank.
in them.
Do you like open the hatch and air it out?
We open the.
So it all becomes like hard and solid, like.
Well, it becomes it becomes like a real sludge, but then in the front and the back where it's rounded, where you don't get a lot of movement, that's where all the sand and grit will stay because you can't unload it. It's like unloading a tub. You get a tub with a really dirty kid in it. You empty all the water out, but you got all the dirt around it. You got to get all that in there, all the mud and dirt from the kid.
I see.
Same as a tanker truck. Same thing. It's a rounded bottom, but nothing. It doesn't come out. Not everything.
No.
So then you got to go in there and you got to shovel it out.
You gotta
And
wear like a special respirator or something when you go in there, like oxygen mask. I mean, aren't the methane levels
You're
like
probably
insane in there?
supposed to.
Can't you like?
Oh, jeez.
Can't you like? I mean, I've heard stories about like people going into like confined spaces and just
Yeah.
dropping dead because they don't realize the gases that are in there and the lack of oxygen.
Yeah, if you think, I know a lot of the guys, they'll leave it open for a day before they go in there.
Just
They'll
air it
open
out
the
a little
top
bit,
and the
yeah.
bottom. Yeah, they'll open the top, let it air out. Me, the easiest way to air it out is to suck it out. So what I'll do is I'll open up my back man port, fire the truck up. Now my pump is underneath it and it's sucking everything out of there. So I'm sucking fresh air in right there clean. So it's sucking all the gases and anything out of there right away. In 5 minutes of running that pump with the 20-inch manhole open,
Yeah.
there's no gases, there's nothing in there. It's empty. I shut the pump off. Then I got no gas, no nothing in there. I can climb in there with a shovel,
You keep
and then I
everything
shovel
open.
it all out to the back, and then I shovel it all through, and then I cut all the rags and the roots.
What do you wear to do that? I mean, do you have
Wear
a
clothes.
special pair of boots and stuff, or you just burn everything? You know,
No, I regular clothes.
regular clothes.
A jumper. You get a mechanic's jumper.
Okay,
You'd put that on.
so you don't get the duty on you.
Yeah, so you don't get the duty on you. That's the only place you're going to get duty on you is going through the manhole. And that's only if you bump your head or if you hit your shoulder on your 20-inch manhole.
I'm hit.
But inside, if you were standing, my truck don't look that big, but if you're standing inside my truck,
Yeah.
I can stand up and I still got another 4 feet above me.
Really?
I got like it's like almost 10 feet from the bottom of my tank to the top of my tank. That's how round my tank is. A lot of people don't realize
No,
that
I would not.
they're that big.
To be that big.
Because a third of my tank is
I'm
beveled down.
picturing you
to
kind of in
frame.
there like.
Oh,
ducking,
no, they're pretty
you know?
high. I stand up in both of my trucks.
Huh?
Then I take the saws off, cut the roots out. Roots will stay in our trucks along. Roots will live in our trucks.
We got plenty of food.
Roots.
Yeah.
Got plenty of
Roots.
water in them. You know, trucks
Where
are
do the
empty
roots
every
come
night.
from?
They come from the septic.
tanks?
Yeah. When we're sucking them up, we pull roots out all the time.
Really?
Roots come in through the outlet baffles. They come in through the lids. They come in cracking the side of the tanks. They come in.
Oh, they'll kill
So we
it.
get
They'll
there,
kill
we
your
cut them
septic.
with the shovel. We suck up what we can, but we never empty them out in the sewer plant. They just stay in there and.
Get stuck
Get
on
bigger.
everything, cause it clogs and all kinds of
Yeah.
crap. I bet. Huh. Did not know that. Now when it goes through the pump, it doesn't grind it up. I would assume it was.
Nothing goes through the pump.
Oh, so the
The
pump.
pump is underneath.
Okay, how it works is like my pump is underneath here, underneath my frame. I got a hose that runs all the way up to the top of the truck. Then it goes into my shutoff with a stainless steel ball.
Yeah.
So all this pump does is just suck the air out of the truck.
So you're just making a vacuum, basically.
I'm making
Yeah.
it vacuum. All I do is I suck the air out of the truck.
And it draws everything in.
And then the barometric pressure outside here is a lot higher than what's in my truck, so everything out here gets pushed up the hose and into my truck. A lot of guys say it's the vacuum that sucks it up, but it actually is. It's the barometric pressure which pushes it up my hose.
So it's the
Because
difference
this is-
between you pulled all the air out of your truck, the pressure in your truck, and the pressure outside.
Yes, yeah.
That's what
it's
actually
all done
sucks
by
everything
that. That's
in.
what causes vacuum.
You ever got any calls for lost wedding rings?
Oh yeah, I get them all the time.
Have you ever been able to salvage them?
Yes, I've gotten tons of them.
Where do you get them? Like
We screen them.
in the tank?
Yeah. We usually go to the inlet. What we'll do first is we'll call and we'll camera from where they think they lost it. We'll camera out to make sure it's not stuck in the pipes. We'll camera it out, and if we nothing in the pipes, then we take a screen, very small screen, and we put it in there and we hose the tank out, and we hose everything to that screen. Watches, rings, necklaces, gold, diamonds, they glitter. When they're down inside that tank and that tank is dark, you just want to put a flashlight in there when you get to the bottom, and you can hit the hose with it. You'll see them glitter and shine and sparkle. So then you know they're in there. So then I made an 8-foot spoon that's flat at the bottom. So I'll put that down in there, and then I'll just take my hose it over to it, and pull it out. And then I'll give it to the people. They'll go take it to the jewelers, have it
That
cleaned,
is
and they're good.
incredible, man. Talk about finding a diamond in the rough.
I found Rolex watches, diamond rings, very expensive diamond rings, necklaces, earrings.
What's the craziest thing somebody's called you to find? I mean, is it all mostly jewelry or
Teeth, jewelry,
teeth is pretty-
keys,
yeah, that's pretty wild.
car keys.
car keys? They make
back,
it that far through the system, huh?
they
Man,
go
these
right
people
down.
got some great water pressure or flush pressure.
It's,
Right?
they do. Well, once it goes past the toilet, they call us. They don't. Not everything makes it into the tank.
I see. Okay.
I did one where the lady fired her 3 nannies in 1 year for stealing. I get there, pump the tank down. I see the sparkly gold. We're gonna stop right here. I hit the hose. I hose it out. See all that. I see a lot of gold in there. Watches, Rolex watches, all kind of. Hey, I call the lady over. Hey, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what it is, but you got a lot of jewelry in here. I'm
You
gonna
got a lot of
scoop it
phone
out.
calls and apologies to make.
Well, that's what she told me. She goes, "Oh my God, I feel so bad." I said, "Why?" She goes, "I fired 3 nannies this year because they're stealing from me," and come to find out, her son was flushing them in the toilet because they would swirl in the toilet and go down.
Classic.
So whatever was in the back of the
Oh my
toilet or
God.
on the sink, the kid would put it in there because he wants to see the diamonds sparkle
Yeah.
and swirl in the water.
Wow.
we just had a caretaker on our last episode, and so that's funny you said that because house cleaning is part of her job, and that's one of the things we were talking about. Lost jewelry,
Yep.
who gets accused,
Always who's ever in the
lost
house
jewelry and
first.
stuff. I wonder how many diamond rings or lost stuff has gone through your system without you even knowing it.
A lot.
I mean, are the guys down at the
the
plant
sewer
just
plants?
making out like
Oh, yeah.
making out like bandits? Do they have like a pool going?
One of the sewer plants I know, because I know all the guys at sewer plants, and one of the sewer plants I know, this one guy, once a year he goes to the jewelry store and brings a lot of jewelry in. Because when we dump into the machines at the sewer plants, they go through a grind. They go through the machine, and then it gets augered up, so all the sludge and stuff gets dried out, augered up, and goes into wheelbarrows. So they got to empty that wheelbarrow 4 or 5 times a day. They bring it over to a backhoe. They dump it in a backhoe, and when the sun's hitting it, you see the little earrings. Ton of those little earrings. Everybody loses earrings. Earrings, nose rings, and that they get them. And he had a couple of years ago. He had a bucket over there, and I'd say he probably made about 10 grand in just necklaces. I got necklaces. I found. I still have it. I found a $5,000 gold coin. Gold coin.
I was gonna say coin.
It was in the back
money?
of my truck.
Money.
It was
How
a
about
gold
money,
coin.
like
It was a
$100?
special. It was 1802 gold coin. I took it to the guy in the Milford Mortons, and he said, "Well, it's worth about 10 grand."
Oh shit.
That's crazy.
Always get jewelry and stuff. I'm always looking for it too. I'm that guy that goes to the sewer plant and grabs the rake and helps them level their wheelbarrows off. I'm like, anything in here?
Finders
Anything in here?
keepers.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, if I were you, I'd take a shitty coin and shove it in my pocket without even cleaning it if it was worth 10 grand.
We're always getting money out of them. Every time I muck my truck, I usually make probably about $400 or $500 in change, coins,
Come on,
all kind of
really?
stuff. Yeah, because they're so heavy when I suck them up off the bottom of the tank.
Yeah.
When they're in my truck, they settle at the bottom. All the liquid goes around them, unless they were in the.
So what do? You have like a panhandle, like you put them all in like a thing and rinse them off, and
Everything.
Like modern day gold
Yeah,
sniffing.
like
Pretty
you got.
much.
I was gonna say, you got one of the.
I shovel it out of my truck. I shovel it into the wheelbarrow. I bring it
gold in
over
that
to
there
where I
shit.
got to bring. I bring it because it's all sand and rock. I bring it over there and I hose it out with the hose. I look for the shiny stuff. When it's shiny,
You're a
I grab it.
49er, man. You got
Only
the
happens
river
twice a
shit.
year,
You're
though.
there panhandling it.
That only happens twice a year.
Well, man, God, why the hell not, right? No
A lot
sense
of
throwing it out.
earrings,
So
lot
is
of
that why the
earrings.
owners always clean the trucks? not,
Yeah.
not because the drivers
That's it.
don't want
Catch
to.
now.
That's it. That was pretty
Fair
quick,
catch,
man.
man.
That was pretty quick.
You get a lot of money. People flush them. A lot
You're
of
like, they didn't,
expensive stuff.
I don't know where this gold ring came from.
You know, unless
Therefore, I
they
can't
ask you
return
to
it.
look for it, you don't know. You're
No.
just pumping the septic out.
It's yours now.
It's in the truck. You've
It's in
done
the truck.
7-8 jobs that day, or you're doing it twice a year, so you've
Twice
done
a year.
thousands
Oh,
of
yeah,
jobs.
Yeah, you have no
There's no
idea.
way you're gonna find out whose it was.
If we see
Fair
it on the
game.
job, if I've always said it, if we see it on the job when we're there, we contact the
The owner.
You know,
we contact the owners.
Yeah. I mean,
we
that's
say,
the right
hey,
thing
you
to
know,
do. Yeah.
that's. But if it's in our truck, it could have been from 6 months ago to a month ago. So
You never know.
I
Yeah, how
save
do
it
you
all
know?
up, and
Yep.
I got a big jar this big of coins.
that's wild.
I wash it outside, let it dry, throw them in the money jar. Christmas comes, hey, I get extra presents.
There you go.
So this is
And they're not
Year-end
shitty
bonus.
presents
So, I mean, they're not shitty so the next time somebody gets their change, they should think about that. That quarter might have been in Cliffy's septic
It
truck
could
at
have.
one point.
They say money's the dirtiest thing you're ever gonna touch,
Oh,
right?
hell
Oh, it
yeah,
is. It's the dirtiest.
I mean, no matter whether it's been in a septic tank or not.
Septic tank probably cleans it a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah.
God.
You never know where that dollar bill's been.
we do get a lot of
Do you worry
dollars.
about like STDs and stuff like that?
No.
Cause that's like, that's a thing, right?
Mm.
Huh?
I've been doing this so many years that I never get
What
sick.
about needles?
We don't poke ourselves.
Well,
Pretty simple concept.
Needles float. When you
Yeah.
see them, you scoop them over, you suck them up real
so
quick.
you do see them.
Oh, we see them all the time.
Yeah.
That and those little Coke package and whatever that little
dime bags
crack.
and all that.
And,
Yeah.
oh, I can always tell you when we go to a druggie's house. As soon as we get there, we open the tank up. It's like, okay, be careful.
All the plastics floating.
You got those syringes
Syringes.
floating, and I did one where I said something to a lady years ago, and I said, I don't know what you're doing with your son. I said, but he's got to let off these needles, man. I said, this is ridiculous, and she goes, oh, my son's a diabetic. I felt like that big.
Yeah.
Well, he
at the
was
same
shooting
time,
me,
you're like, hey,
but he was putting them in the toilet.
he
But
can
you
still
say,
not
okay,
put them. He shouldn't be flushing them in
yeah.
the toilet.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. So my only
sorry
comeback
about
was,
that,
well,
but-
can he put them in the garbage? Because I
Yeah.
can't poke myself with those.
Yeah.
So then she says, well, I'll have him break the needles off. And I'm like,
No,
That
it's
doesn't
still
know.
you're
You
still
just
putting plastic in. Don't flush
She
it
didn't
down the
get the
toilet.
point,
It's
huh?
garbage.
she didn't get the point.
No. Oh my god. I mean, who would have ever thought that the septic guy would be, the one to uncover all your secrets.
Oh, it's
Well,
Everybody
people
thinks
just-
that they just
yeah.
flush it down the toilet and it just
Gone.
disappears.
that's what they think.
and then
They
you just
flush
suck it
it's
right up
gone.
and it's gone.
You know?
They
We
don't
get
know it
there,
flows
we
through
see
the
it.
top. and-
Whether it's in the septic or city sewer, I mean, there's a guy at the treatment plant sifting through all that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, the guys, you go online
Wow.
and see what these guys are getting on these sewer plants from cleaning the screens and all the sewer plants. They're making big money.
There's got to be somebody out there who's tried to dispose of a body through a toilet. I'm just saying. Gotta be. Gotta be.
Not through a toilet, but
It'd take a long time.
I think, no, wait, didn't, Dahmer did it. He cooked the bones down though first.
I
He cooked the bones down. He smashed them up and then he flushed them out.
Oh yeah, when you smash them up,
Yeah.
unless we see the skull.
No. He smashed them up and then he flushed them out the toilet.
Because I've seen where squirrels, rabbits, been in these tanks for 2 years, maybe a year, a couple of years,
Tell me
and everything's gone but the bones. The bones do not disappear.
How many goldfish have you seen?
None.
Those suckers just must disintegrate, right?
They're gone. They disappear by the time I get there.
Poor Goldie.
I was at the Litchfield sewer plant 10 years ago. I was at the Litchfield sewer plant, and I was unloading during a rainstorm. We had a carp come in the sewer system, 13-inch, 14-inch carp,
Up the pipe?
swimming up the sewer pipe, and swimming into the plant.
Poor bastard had
And
no
they're
idea.
like,
carpet nasty.
and I'm like,
Poor bastard had no
well,
idea.
one, I want to know how the carp got in there. And the carp swam all the way up
One
to
of the
where the screen
employees'
was.
experiments.
Someplace there was a break in the pipe. This is years ago, 15
Yeah.
years. There was a break in the pipe someplace next to a river. Because it had to go from, it went from the river.
Oh God, yeah.
Into the sewer
You're
plant.
exposing some.
So there's something not. And a carp is not. No one threw a carp in there 20 years ago
Yeah,
to live.
It's been living in there. It's been living off human feces for its entire life.
We were in there. I was cleaning.
Would be a carp.
You're not wrong.
I was cleaning the screen out and I see it flopping around and I'm like, hey, dude.
Oh my God.
So we pulled it out. We laid it on the ground. And the guy said, what is that? Is that a trout? I said, no, that's a carp.
A brown trout? I mean, come on. I had to say.
God.
Oh man, well I have to say thank you for doing your job because somebody's got to do it, right?
It's good.
You know,
done.
we all
Somebody will
got
do
we
it.
all do our business, and then you take care of our business. You know, your business is our business.
There's always somebody out there.
What's the
that will do
logo
it.
on your truck? Do you have one of those?
Get a whiff.
Get away.
Oh yeah. Anytime you see a septic truck, check out the logos. 'Cause
Yes.
They're all great.
Should be
yeah.
get a Cliff.
Logos are good. Mine says get a whiff, call Cliff.
Get a whiff, call Cliff.
That's
I've seen
clever.
I've seen the
That's
stool
clever.
bus. I've seen the
Yep,
The honey
Tony's got
wagon.
the stool bus, the honey
stool bus,
wagon.
honey wagon.
My friends are always sending me pictures because a lot of guys are getting really creative with what they're putting on their trucks now.
Yeah.
There's some really funny stuff. You know, yesterday's Meals on Wheels.
Yesterday's Meals on Wheels.
I got that on one of my trucks.
We do your
That's
do.
awesome.
We do your do.
I got there's another one's made in the USA. All contents made in the USA. Hopefully.
What else? I mean, come on,
Oh
keep coming.
God,
dude.
there's
Keep
so
coming.
many of
You got
them.
anything
I
you
can't
think
even
of?
think of them.
I can't. It's like the honey wagon is the one that always stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Well, for all your listeners, if you got any that we haven't talked about yet, put it in the comments
Yeah,
section.
definitely.
There's
There's some good ones.
Or if you think of any good ones, Cliff will throw it on the truck.
There is one really good one. It's that on the back of the septic truck. It says we haul milk on weekends.
That's good.
Oh, or pool water.
Pool
You
water.
know? We go pool water on weekends.
You're gonna need extra chlorine.
What was that movie with the baby Ruth floating in the pool? It was that
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, Chevy Chase. They would be like that.
Yeah.
They'd be
Everybody jumps out of the pool.
There'd be
they
the
know.
baby Ruth floating in the pool. Clippy's pool water. Oh man, well, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it.
no
You know, I know
problem.
it was a
Enjoyed
little
it.
bit of a haul for you. So.
Enjoyed it. Had fun.
And you're not used to normally doing stuff like this, but
No, I'm usually home in bed by now. Oh no, today's Friday.
it is Friday, freaking Friday, man.
Yeah.
Go home and have some fun.
Oh, I'm gonna stop at a friend's house.
There you go. Don't
So
get
before
too
we
much
let you go, what would we want? We usually ask every guest. You know, what would you say to everybody? Like, what message would you want to put out, whether it's to customers or just people in general?
Yeah, you got a stage right now, so if you
Like
could
one of
say
your-
something to the
a
world, what
gripe
would you
or
say?
something you
What would
like,
say?
or you know,
advice or whatever.
A lot of stuff I gotta bite my tongue on first. Hold on.
You don't have to bite it too hard.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say whatever you want here.
Just work hard. Get a job. Work hard. Save money. Be responsible. Yeah, it's the toughest thing.
Sounds pretty
There you
simple.
go. Yeah.
Simple is sometimes the best thing to do.
Yep.
Keep it simple, stupid.
And find
Right?
the shittiest job that nobody else wants to do.
Find
You'll
the-
always have
You
work.
find the worst job nobody
Find the
wants.
job
you
that's
have
always going
one.
to be a job, no matter what.
Everybody wants to be a doctor. Everybody wants to be a lawyer. Nobody wants to pump shit. Nobody wants to wipe babies' asses. Somebody's gotta.
That's right.
Those are wise words, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was great.
All right, everybody, check us out on Facebook, Instagram at Jobs Not Steve Podcast.
Now YouTube too. Jobs
Yep.
Not Steve podcast.
We have a special. We have a new
New segment coming
little
out.
segment. On,
That's out now.
That's YouTube. Yeah, it's out now. It's on YouTube only. It's called Jobs Not Steve After Hours, where we are gonna bullshit with our guests for 15 minutes about a topic that we hear. You know, we grabbed off the news or something or the internet.
Whatever sparks our interest that week.
So check that out. Subscribe, and then so you can see every week.
And then turn on notifications because we might have something live coming in every once in a while too.
Yep, we're gonna plan on doing a live show when we figure that out here. And again, comment, like, subscribe.
You could always send an email. JobsNotSteve
Jobs Not Steve
podcast at gmail.com.
Yep. Send us emails. Let us know what you like. If you want to come on the show, any criticisms, whatever. Be nice, but we can take it too.
That's just feedback, good
Yeah.
or bad. We need to hear it. So
All right, everybody, have a good night.
take care.
Have a good one, guys.